Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today is going to be another Romance Sunday video, and I actually had an entire video filmed and ready to go for this Sunday, but then I watched Olivia from Olivia Reads a Latte. It was one of her weekly vlogs, and in it she was talking about how she really wanted recommendations for romance books that are more on the rom-com side, a lot lighter, not necessarily as sexy, and a light bulb just went off in my head and I was like, oh my god, that's perfect. Because I do actually get this question a lot in my comments. I know a lot of you follow me and aren't super into the smutty, sexy romances that I talk about all the time, and you're just looking for something that is adult but not as sex heavy and more light and fun. And so I am here to give you some recommendations. All of these books I would consider to be rom-com style books. They don't really deal with super heavy topics. They are definitely lighter on the sex scenes, whether they're less graphic or less in quantity. So let's just jump into the recommendations. The first one is actually going to be an author, and that is going to be Christina Lauren. I think that I would recommend pretty much starting with Roomies onward. They used to write very steamy, very smutty books, as I have now experienced since I read Beautiful Bastard, but their newer releases are definitely more on the rom-com side. From what I remember, most of them only have 1 or 2 sex scenes, and a couple of them actually, the sex scenes were fade to black. But they're definitely all on the lighter side. They deal with a lot lighter topics and they're more fun and cute. Roomies follows a woman who every day on her commute sees this musician in the subway station, and she's just very enchanted by him, and she works on a musical. Her uncle, I think, is like a Broadway musical director. She approaches him one day and says, you know, you should audition for the musical to be a musician in it. And so he auditions and he gets it, but it turns out he is from Ireland and his visa is about to expire, or his visa did expire. So she offers to basically marry him so that he can get a visa and continue to work on the musical. So they get married and it's them living their lives, cohabitating with each other in her apartment. And it is very, very cute. This was the first Christina Lauren book I actually ever read, and it definitely sold me on their character relationships. I think that they write really great character dynamics that have just like so much tension and are really good. So then the next one that I would recommend is Josh and Hazel's Guide to Not Dating. This one follows Josh and Hazel, who are 2 people who knew each other in college, and then they reconnect after I think like 10 years, and they just become friends, and they agree to start setting each other up on blind dates. They always end up going home together because their blind dates just go horribly. Slowly through the book, their friendship develops into a more romantic thing, and it's so cute. I loved their relationship so much. This is definitely one of my favorite friends to lovers romance books. I will say though that the ending of the book, not my favorite. Something is kind of thrown in the last like 10 pages that kind of didn't really make sense to me, but everything else leading up to that point is amazing, and it's definitely worth it, even though in my opinion the ending wasn't the best. And then their newest release is The Unhoneymooners. This one I think is the most rom-com-y out of the ones that I just mentioned. It is about the maid of honor and the best man of a wedding. Everyone at the wedding got sick, including the bride and groom, so they offer the honeymoon, which was an all expenses paid trip to Hawaii, to the maid of honor and the best man. And so these 2 people who don't like each other end up going on a honeymoon together, and they have to pretend that they're married. There was just like so many awkward hijinks that you would find in like typical rom-com movies. Like they ran into her boss and his ex-girlfriend. For some reason, everybody that they knew from their past was just somehow also at this resort. It was really great. It also has the like only one bed trope, which is awesome. And again, all 3 of these I think are lighter on the sex scenes. I think that The Unhoneymooners was the lightest. It had, I think, only 1 sex scene, and it was fade to black. The next book that I'm going to recommend, I'm not going to talk about it for too long because I did talk about it in depth in my last Romance Sunday video, but that is Well Met by Jen DeLuca. This is probably my favorite of the rom-com books that I'm going to be recommending. It follows these 2 characters who are working in a Ren fair, and they don't like each other. From day 1 at the Ren fair, they got off on a rough foot and so they just don't get along. They really butt heads, but their characters in the Ren Fair, one of them is playing a tavern wench and the other one is playing a pirate captain, and their characters are in a romance together. So while they're working at the Ren Fair and while they're in character, they have to pretend like they have a romance, so they have a lot of banter and they flirt, but then as soon as the Ren Fair is over, they go back to not liking each other. And this was a lot of fun, particularly the Ren Fair setting. There's a lot of like jousting and competitions and fun Ren Fair games and stuff, which definitely added a very like romantic comedy feel to the whole book. And it was also really funny. There was a lot of jokes that I actually laughed out loud while I was reading. So definitely recommend this. It comes out on September 3rd. So keep your eye out for that. The next two I'm going to recommend are kind of similar. The first one is Marriage of Unconvenience by Chelsea M. Cameron, and then the other one is My Fake Canadian Wife by M. Hollis. Both of these are female-female romances. They're pretty short in length. I think they're both like novella length, maybe under 100 pages, and they have the fake marriage trope, but both of them are extremely cute. I definitely was like smiling very hard while I was reading both of these. And I don't want to say too much about the plots because they are very short. These are totally books that you could read in an afternoon. If you're looking for some really cute female-female rom-coms, I definitely would recommend checking out either one of these. The next one I'm going to recommend is another author, and that is R.S. Gray. She writes a ton of rom-com books, and you can pretty much probably find any trope that you're looking for in one of her books. There's one about doctors, there's one about teachers. There are literally so many. I could make an entire video just on R.S. Gray's romantic comedies. So really, I feel like there's something for everybody in these. I probably will be flashing just like a slideshow of the covers because when I say there's a lot, I mean there's a lot. This is definitely just like a wishing well of romantic comedies, and they're all relatively short, so you can definitely just like binge a couple on a nice little weekend. The next one is Red, White, and Royal Blue by Casey McQuiston. You guys probably know what this is about. This is a new adult romance about the son of the President of the United States and the Prince of England. They have an altercation and it becomes front page news, and so in order to fix the press story, they have to pretend to be friends. So they do a lot of very public engagements together, like charity stuff, and over the course of them pretending to be friends, they develop feelings for each other, and it is so cute. I really loved this book, and it is definitely very funny. I will say though, one thing with this is that it's very politics heavy, because it obviously, it's about the first son and the Prince of England. A lot of politics play into it, and there is an election going on in the United States. Keep that in mind when you go into it. There are a lot of politics, which I personally really liked, but I know that's not everyone's cup of tea. But the relationship between Alex and Henry is just so cute. And one of my favorite things that I found a lot of these rom-com books do is that there will be a lot of the characters' text messages or emails with each other, and I just love some really good text message banter. It's one of my favorite things, and this book has a lot of that, so definitely recommend this if you haven't already read it. And then the last thing I'm going to recommend is a whole series. I think out of all the stuff that I recommended, these are probably the most steamy. They're still not like super steamy like a lot of the other stuff that I read and recommend, but I definitely think they are more so than the other stuff I've talked about, and that is going to be the Reluctant Royal series by Alyssa Cole. So the first book is A Princess in Theory, the second book is A Duke by Default, the third book A Prince on Paper, and then the two novellas, Once Ghosted, Twice Shy, and Can't Escape Love. These are all just extremely cute, and I said before that the first book really reminds me of the movie The Prince and Me, which is one of my all-time favorite romantic comedies. There's a lot of just like awkwardness and funny moments and lighthearted moments, but the relationships are all really great. Like I said, they are a little bit more steamy than the other stuff, but it's not crazy. I just try to recommend these every chance that I get because I really, really love them. I think this is one of my favorite romance series. So those are all of my rom-com romance recommendations. Lastly, before I end this video, I'm going to recommend another romance reader that you should follow. So today I'm going to be recommending Melissa H. She is a booktuber who I have recently discovered within the past month or so, and I love her videos. She is just so energetic and happy, and every time I watch one of her videos, it makes me smile. She has a ton of romance recommendation videos. She recently put up a rock star romance video. She's done paranormal romance, forbidden romance, hate to love. She's just done a ton of romance videos and has so many recommendations, so definitely check her out. I will leave her links down below. As always, if you have any Romance Sunday video requests, please leave them down below and I might just do them. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!